Every few decades, biology thinks it has figured out the rules. Not all of them, just enough to feel confident, enough to write textbooks, enough to teach students that hollow melanosomes, the microscopic structures that give peacocks their iridescence and hummingbirds their impossible shimmer, belong exclusively to birds. Always have, always will. Mammals? Solid, dense, unremarkable. Science was certain about this for over 50 years. Then someone looked at a platypus. Inside the fur of this animal, this creature that already lays eggs, hunts by electricity, produces venom that resists morphine, and glows blue-green under ultraviolet light. The melanosomes are hollow and spherical, a combination found in no other animal on Earth, not in any bird, not in any reptile, not in anything cataloged in the history of zoology, just the platypus. Here is the part that should embarrass the peacock. Hollow melanosomes exist architecturally to produce brilliant, iridescent color. The platypus carries the full biological machinery for plumage that would make a bird of paradise feel insecure. It is brown, not a rich brown, not a brown with hidden optical depth, the color of river mud, the color of an extremely forgettable rock. Researchers published their findings in Biology Letters in March 2026, noted that the function of these structures remains entirely unknown, and presumably went home to reconsider some foundational assumptions. This is a film about that animal, the one that keeps submitting exceptions to rules biology considered closed. The one that, right now, is raising its young inside a 30-meter tunnel it sealed from the inside. In a river you cannot see it in, using a sense you do not have, on a developmental timeline that has not changed in 200 million years. 130 days, from egg to survivor. It dives blind. Eyes sealed, ears sealed, nostrils sealed. 40,000 receptors take over from there. Every surfacing is a reset. The bill sweeps the water, reading disturbances too faint for any other sense. Before leaving, she seals the entrance, not with instinct alone, with engineering. Foraging begins at dusk, not by choice, by chemistry. Hormonal cycles tied to failing light pull her into the water. The bill stops, not randomly. A muscle somewhere beneath the silt just contracted, and she felt it. She carries the catch in her cheeks, along with a mouthful of gravel. She has no teeth. The gravel is the point. There is no stomach here. Evolution removed it entirely. Everything she swallows passes directly to the intestine, pre-ground or not at all. The transition zone concentrates invertebrates. Organic matter settles at the boundary between current and still water. The richest substrate in the stream is exactly where bank meets open water. 2 minutes of air, maximum. Beyond that, the physics of oxygen debt end the dive. Not willpower, not strategy. A single ripple trail moves upstream. Somewhere beneath this stream, a mammal is navigating entirely by electricity. Complete darkness changes nothing. The electroreceptors function identically at zero light. This animal did not evolve sight as a foraging tool. She hauls out, carrying more than prey. Every gram she consumed tonight becomes milk tomorrow. Enough, barely, to sustain what waits inside the bank. Rain does not stop the hunt. Surface turbulence breaks the visual silhouettes that aerial predators depend on. The storm is cover. richest foraging zone is also the most dangerous. The narrow margin where bank meets water, with nowhere to retreat in either direction. The bill works below the waterline, while the back remains above it. Half the animal in two different worlds simultaneously. She grinds for 8 seconds at the surface. No stomach means no second chance at digestion. What reaches the intestine must already be ready. The foraging pace slows before dawn arrives. The biological clock does not wait for hunger to subside. It responds to light, not satiety. Every visual predator in this system is hunting blind right now. She is not. Electricity does not care what color the water is. Waterproofing is not passive. The bifurcated grooming claws exist specifically to maintain the air layer trapped in the fur, the thermal buffer that keeps her alive in cold water. She forages in near freezing water as efficiently as in summer. The hollow air pockets inside each melanosome may be why. Science filed that under currently investigating. Under ultraviolet light, the fur ignites in blue-green fluorescence. No other mammal does this. What it means, whether camouflage, communication, or accident, science has not yet agreed. She will feed every night for months ahead. What she is building inside that bank, no camera has fully witnessed in the wild. The spur is not decorative. During breeding season, the venom gland beneath it enlarges measurably. He is producing something designed to cause prolonged, treatment-resistant pain. 2 males at 1 meter, neither retreating. Both spurs are at seasonal venom peak. The next move will cost one of them weeks of untreatable pain. The venom of a platypus does not respond to morphine. The pain it produces is neurologically distinct and can persist for weeks without chemical relief. She leads. He holds her tail in his bill and follows. Platypus mating is initiated, paced, and ended by the female. He has no vote in any of it. She carries the leaves tucked under her tail, not in her bill. They must arrive wet. Humidity in the sealed chamber prevents the eggs from desiccating before they hatch. The nesting burrow is not the same structure she rests in. She excavates a separate system, purpose-built, up to 30 meters long for a single reproductive event. The plug is not symbolic. Compressed earth across the tunnel blocks scent trails, regulates humidity, and physically prevents the body mass of a carpet python from advancing. She lays eggs. She is a mammal. These two facts coexisted for 200 million years before humans arrived to be confused by them. She leaves only to drink and defecate. The eggs lose critical temperature within minutes of exposure. Every absence is a debt the embryo pays. A pip crack appears in the leathery shell. The Puggle has been working at this from inside, using a temporary egg tooth that will dissolve within days of hatching. 1.5 centimeters. Blind, deaf, hairless. This is a mammal at its most exposed, less developed at birth than almost any other warm-blooded animal on Earth. She has no nipples. The milk does not flow from a duct. It seeps through the skin of her abdomen and pools in the fur grooves. The Puggle laps, not suckles. Lactation multiplies her caloric demand. She is now hunting to produce, through her own skin, a substance that will develop an entirely separate nervous system. By week 8, the fur has arrived. Thermoregulation shifts from entirely maternal to partially independent. The chamber's controlled temperature is no longer the only thing keeping the Puggle alive. She returns before the foraging bout should have ended. The plug goes in faster, with more force. The mechanoreceptors in the water column registered something, and the body responded before the brain had a vote. The eyes open at approximately week 11. Visual cortex activation begins. For the first time, the brain receives light-based input, even if the chamber provides almost none to work with. The Puggle appears at the burrow entrance and stops. This is the threshold between a world it has known entirely through touch, smell, and sound, and one that contains light. The first water entry is not taught. The waterproofing works immediately. The swimming works immediately. What must be learned is the part that requires electricity. The first successful capture. Cheeks distended, jaw cycling at the surface, the inherited grinding behavior executing without a single lesson. The electroreception skill took weeks. The rest was already written. She reads the plug before re-entering. Compression marks, scent traces, moisture shifts. If anything touched this entrance while she was gone, the bill already knows. Stillness is her defense. No movement means no pressure wave, no disturbed silt, no visual target. She does not flee, she disappears in place. The 30-meter burrow contains multiple plug points, each one a separate barrier. She maintains every one of them. A single failed plug is a direct path to the Puggle. The raised tail is not incidental. It places the spur at maximum visibility and striking range simultaneously. This posture is a threat display with a delivery mechanism already primed. The hind claw is split into 2 tines, purpose-built to separate and realign the guard hairs. Without this maintenance, the insulating air layer collapses and the cold water wins. She floats without moving in the warmest patch of the stream. Metabolic rate drops when external heat is available. Every calorie saved here is a calorie available for tonight. She drags the bill across the bank after every foraging bout. Silt in the electroreceptor pores degrades signal resolution. The hunt tomorrow depends on the maintenance done today. The melanosomes in her fur are hollow and spherical. That combination has never been found in any animal before. In birds, hollow melanosomes produce iridescent color. She is still brown. Her closest living relative, the echidna, has solid melanosomes. Standard, unremarkable. Whatever happened to the platypus fur structure happened to the platypus alone, and science published its confusion in March 2026. She dives, and the stream closes over her. 130 days ago, this animal did not exist. Now it hunts by electricity in a river it has never seen, and the platypus goes on being impossible.